I don't think that entitlement is necessarily a bad thing. I think we're all entitled to have somewhat of a good time in life. Hello, 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 and welcome to Mercury Rising. This is Joji with another Keeping Up with the Moon, the show where I break down whatever the moon is doing in a given day and try to make sense of it, and hopefully I do. Like always, these come straight from my Instagram where I post daily delineations, so they're always best accompanied with it. So if you go to my Instagram, read the delineation, then come here to the YouTube video where I explain a little bit of the rationale behind that. And then hopefully after it, you get to do some thinking, you get to see how these things have played out in your life, and maybe you get to even leave a comment and let me know how that actually panned out, because that would actually be pretty interesting for me to know. So with that, let's get to August 10th, just because I actually have tried to record these videos many times, but things keep going wrong. So let's go. And again, this is also a lesson on election astrology, and to not start recording things when Mars is ruling the ascendant on a day chart. Cool. So August 10th, we're talking a lot about Venus here. Venus in Virgo. We've been talking about Venus in Virgo for quite a while now. But today is especially special because tomorrow we're actually going to have a Moon and Venus conjunction. But before we get to do that, the Moon is actually going to go past the decan of Venus in Virgo, but also the terms of Venus in Virgo. So we almost get to see like a little bit of a preview of what Moon and Venus together look like. One of the things that I've talked a lot about Venus and Virgo is the story that of Venus not being so focused on relationships and more focused on work. And one thing that I'll really explore tomorrow, but less so today, but I think it kind of helps inform what's going on, is this idea of work as pleasure, or the love for work. With yesterday's Moon conjunction to Mars, we're planning, we're getting things together, we're doing it. We're out here, we have a plan, or at least a semblance of what we want to do. We know that the big boss is Saturn, whatever Saturn is coming to represent to you in your life, but now we're actually getting to learn how we're going to tackle that whole situation. Even though Venus is in fall in the sign, I think it's actually quite a good thing to have the Moon transit through the decan and the term right before the conjunction. Because even though Venus struggles a little bit, I think there's a lot of really good things that can come out of Venus in Virgo. There's this certainty of what it is that you want. There's a goal, or like a finished line, like the light at the end of the tunnel that you can see already. You might feel like you need to do all these steps before you get to the finish line, and that's the annoying thing about Venus and Virgo. Maybe even being a little bit too critical of how you get to that finish line too can be a little bit of a problem. But one of the things that's really good here is that you don't have the distraction from the rose-tinted glasses that Venus is so good at gifting us with from time to time. One thing that I wrote in the Instagram is this idea of Venus is the goddess of love, and one thing that we all know is that love is always best when it's experienced and when it's felt, but not when it's broken down and analyzed. And Virgo does that. But if we're really just being a lot more objective about love, attraction, and all those things. And also, when I talk about love and attraction, this is not just love and attraction to people. It's also love and attraction to certain things. And if we're talking about work, love and attraction to that goal as well. When we have a little bit more of that objective and sometimes even cold approach to that goal, or approach to that thing that we love, or that thing that we want, we can actually get down to business. And this is what I think the Moon is great for doing today, like just really sitting down, getting down to business, and doing the thing. Because without the illusions which will come, we're not so lost in the thoughts of the finished product. We're a little bit more grounded and more present with what is. But when we have such a clear idea of what it is that we want and what it is that we're striving for, one thing that we can fall into is this idea of entitlement. And entitlement these days is one of those words that's seen with such disdain. It's actually a little unfortunate, just because I don't think that entitlement is necessarily a bad thing. I think we're all entitled to have somewhat of a good time in life. Some people have better times than others, and that's always a thing that we have to be honest about. But everyone is entitled to at least some degree of joy. But there's also a very thin balance, because with the entitlement and knowing that you deserve something also can come a little bit of the brattiness and the impatience that we want to avoid. It's not because you're entitled to have a thing that you're entitled to have it right now. We're still dealing with Lady Fortune here. And she's one fickle bitch. That's for sure. She'll do things at her own time, and we have to be patient and kind of dense with her on that regard. So today there's a little bit of learning how to play with the rules. Even if the system or the game in which you're playing goes directly against that goal or that Virgo envision that you have at this specific moment, sometimes you have to play by the rules in order to break them. Yes, and this is the thing that I think we all have to really focus on right now, especially as we head towards the Venus conjunction and therefore Neptune opposition. And we'll really break how Neptune plays into this whole situation tomorrow, because I think that that's where things can get a little tricky. But for today, the thing that we need to do, I guess, is really just focus on the themes of that second decan of Virgo. That's the decan of the Nine of Pentacles, and it's the Nine of Pentacles is all about independence and not needing to rely on anything or anyone else to do the thing that you need to do. And this is going to contradict with what I'm going to talk tomorrow, but we can see the progression of the 2 days. And I'm sorry that I'm talking about tomorrow too much, because I really should be thinking about today, but I think that it's a really good progression. And if I were to give tangible advice on what to do today and what to do tomorrow, just to work with this whole Venus Moon conjunction situation, is that today is really the time to learn what that vision is. Learn what it is that is inspiring and motivating you to do the thing. And we saw a little bit of a glimpse of that with Mars and the drive and the intent to do the thing, especially as Mars was in the very early degrees of Virgo, and therefore like the very beginning of the moon's journey through this side to the sign. Now is a time to gain clarity. We're in the fixed decan of Virgo, so we're really trying to fix those ideas into our psyches, and those ideas into or journals or planners and all of that, because those are all very Virgoan things. I guess today is the day to get the to-do list together, and tomorrow will be tomorrow when we get to it. So I hope that made sense. I think I'm dancing around what's gonna happen tomorrow, but also I recorded this video 3 times. So I think I might be missing some stuff out, but I hope that it made sense and that I gave you some things to work with for today. But tomorrow is really the day where we're gonna get to understand what this whole Venus, Mars, Moon, and Virgo situation is looking like. But with that, bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'd like to take this moment to thank and credit my teachers and people who have influenced me throughout my studies. These are also people who I may quote from time to time: Vadius Fallons, Dimitra George, Patrick Watson, Firmicus Maternus, Dorotheus, Lisa Scheim, Austin Coppa, Kelly Surtees, Gemini Brett, Samuel Reynolds, Hermes, T. Susan Chang, Mel Meline, Chris Brennan, Saint Expedite, Gordon White, Connor Habib, and Eric L. Arnenson.